So we take you now to Cabinet to get an idea of what the latest developments are, as Acting Minister in the Presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, is outlining the outcomes of the Cabinet meeting held on Wednesday. Let's take you there.
That should be nurtured and developed. Even beyond the research on COVID-19, South Africa's well-known scientists and innovators have delivered cutting-edge technologies such as first world digital laser and the Lodox full-body X-ray scanner that you find in your hospitals and other hospitals across the world. It was a South African invention. On the COVID-19 vaccine rollout, Cabinet appreciated the commencement of the national rollout of the COVID-19 vaccination program, with the first doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine being administered to healthcare workers in both the public and private sectors. Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, our healthcare workers have been the shield that kept our nation safe. They have faced the virus head-on and have persevered against an unrelenting virus. Their selflessness and selfless sacrifice has saved countless lives, and our nation owes them an immense debt of gratitude. Their vaccination will help protect them against infection and ultimately return our nation to normalcy. Cabinet is pleased that millions of additional vaccines procured through several sources will arrive at varying intervals in the coming months, beginning this weekend. Once the healthcare workers have been vaccinated as part of phase 1 of the vaccination rollout strategy, phase 2 will focus on essential workers and vulnerable groups, which include people over the age of 60 years, people with comorbidities, as well as those living in places such as nursing homes and hostels. Citizens are reminded that vaccination is free and voluntary and remains our best defense against the virus, and coupled with the continued adherence to the health protocols of avoiding large gatherings, wearing of masks in public, sanitizing your hands, and washing our hands with soap, and also maintaining the social distance of at least 2.5 meters. These measures are critical to the health of our nation, which is our joint responsibility and not the sole responsibility of government. The Stats SA released the fourth quarterly labor force survey on Tuesday, 23rd February 2021, and it continues to remind us of the challenges of unemployment facing the country. Cabinet is, however, encouraged by the green shoots that our economy continues to demonstrate amongst the current harsh economic realities. According to the recent statistics, employment increased by 333,000 jobs, with the formal sector contributing the largest at 189,000 jobs between quarter 3 and quarter 4 in 2020. Furthermore, there's been a decline in the number of the not economically active by 890,000 in quarter 4 in 2020 compared to quarter 3 of 2020. Cabinet remains concerned that the rate at which the economy creates jobs remains slower than the rate the country sheds jobs, because the country shed 701,000 jobs between quarter 3 and quarter 4. Although quarter 4 noted an increase in the unemployment rate, the percentage increase of 1.7% is still lower than the quarter 3 increase of unemployment of 9% to the unemployment rate. This shows that we are gradually getting to create jobs more vigorously as an economy. It is disturbing that young people constitute the largest pool of the unemployed, and African and colored South Africans, as well as women, remain the most vulnerable groups in the economy of the country. And this strengthens government's resolve to fast-track measures to support and enable the meaningful participation of youth, women, and Black people in the economy of the country. This is in line with the recommitment to the economic reform and transformation made by the President in the 2021 SONA. In terms of the national budget, the 2021 national budget, the tabling of the 2021 national budget is an important part of South Africa's open and accountable system of democracy. Following President Ramaphosa's SONA, the 2021 national budget outlines government's financial plan to support the implementation of the National Program of Action as outlined in the 2021 SONA. Cabinet welcomes the 2021 national budget as the best available option in balancing fiscal sustainability, whilst funding critical government's priorities, such as the procurement of COVID-19 vaccines, supporting the most vulnerable in our society through a comprehensive social assistance program and the economic reconstruction and recovery plan in order to rebuild the economy, support job creation, and attract investment, albeit under a challenging economic environment. And Cabinet welcomed the recent sentencing by the Western Cape High Court of 5 members of a syndicate found guilty of copper cable theft to a cumulative 1,250 years imprisonment. We congratulate our law enforcement agencies for the arrest and successful prosecution of those who are involved in copper cable theft. Cabinet is hopeful that the recent arrests and sentences will send a strong message to those that are responsible for such economic sabotage and crimes and that they will face the full might of the law. We call on the public to report criminals to law enforcement agencies. On gender-based violence and femicide, Cabinet welcomed the arrest of the man who brutally attacked Ms. Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, the journalist of Lesedi FM. Also, Cabinet welcomed the sentencing of the murderer of the pregnant, the late Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, and the arrest of Mr. Ntutuko Shoba, her boyfriend and father of her unborn child, for allegedly masterminding her murder. Cabinet calls on all criminal justice systems to ensure justice is served on behalf of Ms. Ntshavheni and the late Ms. Pule and other victims of gender-based violence and femicide. Ending gender-based violence, it requires all of us to take a stand to stop this scourge. It is a community responsibility. It is a societal responsibility. On Zadak Media Awards, Cabinet is calling all South African media to submit their entries for the 2021 Zadak Media Awards competition. Interested journalists can access more information about the competition through the Zadak website and the GCIS website. The awards promote regional integration and cooperation by encouraging media practitioners in Zadak member states to cover issues pertaining to the region. And on Cabinet decisions, the national state of disaster, that's the first decision. Cabinet approved the decision to declare a national state of disaster following the destruction caused by Tropical Storm Eloise and summer seasonal rains, which left infrastructure and homes damaged in various provinces. This is done in terms of Section 27, subsection 1 of the Disaster Management Act of 2000, Act number 57. The declaration will assist government to enhance existing measures undertaken by various organs of state to mitigate the impact of the national disaster. On the Presidential Remuneration Review Commission report, the Cabinet received and approved the Presidential Remuneration Review Commission report. The PRRC was appointed to investigate the remuneration and conditions of service in the public service and the national and provincial public entities listed in Part A and C, Schedule 3 of the Public Finance Management Act, Act number 1 of 1999. The priority sectors covered in the report are the educators, health, security sector, and public entities that are Schedule 3A and 3B of the PFMA. The report will be made available through the Department of Public Service and Administration. On South Africa's country report to the United Nations on the elimination of all forms of racial discrimination, Cabinet approved the submission of South Africa's 9th to 11th periodic country review report on the UN International Convention on the elimination of all forms of racial discrimination. South Africa signed the ICERD in 1994 and ratified it on December 10, 1998. The report outlines progress made by South Africa in putting in place legislative, judicial, and administrative measures to eliminate all forms of racial discrimination. And this report is submitted when our country has experienced a resurgence of racial discrimination incidences. This periodic report focuses on the progress made in advancing equality, fighting xenophobia and other related intolerances, prevention of hate crimes, and highlights challenges that still remain. After its presentation to the relevant body, the report will be made public. Accession to the International Convention on the Suppression and Punishment of Crime of Apartheid. Cabinet approved the tabling of the International Convention on the Suppression and Punishment of the Crime of Apartheid to Parliament for accession. This is done in terms of Section 20.
Minister in the Presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, briefing the media on the outcome of the cabinet meeting, speaking there about the vaccination program, how cabinet is pleased with that process, and also saying that they welcome the decision over the arrest of the Lesedi FM personality Dimakatso Ratselanes, who was stabbed multiple times, and also Tsegofatso Pule's developments in that case. That will be back again with